stuff. Let's start with the obvious. And there's a lot of expenses I want to go through for you for retirement, but the obvious one is healthcare. You know that. But look here, right here at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they show us the breakdown. 55 to 64, you're going to have a large increase in expenses there. 6,699 is the average. And then you got 7,540 for age 65 and older. And then, you can see that continues. But what's interesting here is, it's actually an increase even at 65 and older. Well, think about that. You're on Medicare at that point, and it's actually more. The reason for that is because you're oftentimes going to be retired. You don't have your workplace plans that are going to be helping pay for that. But then also, you're going to be going to the doctor a lot more. I mean, that's just kind of a given in the retirement years. So you could put the two and two together. But even looking at 55 to 65 before Medicare starts, you really have to plan for the idea of expensive health care. Now, you do have the Affordable Care Act that comes into play, and you could go get the insurance through through the health marketplace. Now, there is an income play on this, though. So if you're retiring early and going to still have some sort of income that you're pulling from, let's just say, your IRA account, and you're going to be living a nice lifestyle, that could cost you even more in healthcare. So this is just kind of the average that we're looking at with these numbers. Now, another one, though, that people are sometimes getting caught off guard with, and we're seeing this with clients as well, and that's housing. Check this out. 65 years and older, you're actually going to have more housing expenses. Now, why would that be? Well, talking with clients, I've realized they're sitting around, they're retired, they're enjoying their life, and they say, dang, I've got a little extra time. And you know what I've neglected this whole time? My house. They start wanting to say, you know what, let's go ahead and do the bathroom remodel. Let's do the kitchen remodel. Maybe a little new carpet. You're going to have some extra expenses possibly because you're going to start to bring your house back up to speed and say, hey, let me do this one time and then hopefully not have to do it again through the retirement years. And AC, a roof, they like to get these things done right at the retirement years so they don't have to be concerned with it later on, making sure that they have the money now. So that's really why housing comes into play. And then you have taxes. Taxes is a weird one, though, because some people are saying, okay, I'm going to have less taxes. I don't have to pay income. But they're not accounting for it if they are looking to do Roth conversions or if they are a high income earner and they retire and they have a lot of pre-tax dollars. Eventually, you might have the IRMAA tax that comes into play on Medicare, which is going to make you pay even higher of a tax there on your Medicare. So be very careful with that one and make sure that you're aware of that. We also seeing travel. In the early years in retirement, it makes sense. People are thinking, I'm going to travel a little, but then they have the idea that, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to travel a lot because you want to start seeing the kids and the grandkids. And then you say, I want to take the big trip here and there. And people are not always planning for these things. We're seeing this in the financial plans that we're building for clients. They're not thinking of that. And we start to really do the goal discovery with them to say, hey, what are your goals in retirement? One more that is not really thought about too much, and it's one that oftentimes, yes, you already have the same expense in the working years, but you are not accounting for in the retirement years, and that is your vehicle. Having to add in the vehicle into the financial plan, let's say every 5 or 10 years, you are going to have the purchase of a vehicle. Now, maybe you are able to downsize. Maybe there's you and a spouse, and you have 2 vehicles, and you say, hey, you know what? We're just going to 1 vehicle. That's okay. But again, what we've started to see with clients is oftentimes they may have that one car that they've always wanted to get. And when they retire, they say, hey, I'm rewarding myself with that. And if it's in the financial plan, it's there. But that's sometimes an unexpected expense in retirement that maybe you really weren't accounting for, but you should be. And then the one more is kids. You've got kids and everybody wants to help their kids. Well, if you're working your whole life and you've got all this money going to savings so that you can retire, and then you say, okay, I'm retired. Now I have liquidity here. I can sell out of my IRA. I can, take from my brokerage account. I can do all these things. I've met my goals. I want to help my kids. It's great. We love the idea of helping your kids and even gifting some of your inheritance to them as you're going forward. But you have to plan for that. And it's an unexpected expense if you start getting out of hand with it. We've seen this happen where the kids come to the parents and they say, hey, I'm kind of in a bind right now and I need some help. And it's something that will catch you off guard that you may not be planning for. So just make sure when you're doing your plan that you're saying, hey, is there any unexpected expenses that may come into play? And if so, just run a scenario. How is this actually going to affect my retirement? And then the final one is relocation. A lot of people are wanting to relocate right now. You know, they want to downsize. They want to go to, let's say, Florida, where we're at. A lot of people are coming here. But what they are not accounting for is maybe that they get to save on state income tax in retirement, but higher insurance costs, higher interest if you are getting a mortgage on your house, and then also property taxes and all of these things that come into play. So there's a lot that's going on here, and also just the idea that right the second different states, especially the hot ones for retirement, you're seeing real estate values just through the roof. And so you may be able to downsize out of a home in, let's just say, you know, the Midwest, but then you're coming here to Florida and then you're realizing, wow, I had a 3,000 square foot home. I'm only going to have a 1,700 square foot home here, but the cost is the exact same. And so people aren't really thinking of that and that big expense that could be coming into play. Now, I'm sure there are others that I have not mentioned, and that's where I want you to help out, because ultimately, I want to make sure that we're trying to give you a little nugget to make sure that you can really get yourself through the retirement years and account for everything you need to. So if you're watching and you have something else that you're like, wow, this one really caught me off guard, let me know in the comments, because I want to make sure we're helping everybody.